Good morning students. Today I am going to start electromagnetism chapter. In the previous classes you have learnt about electricity and also about magnetism. Now in this chapter we are going to learn combined effects of electricity and magnetism, that is electromagnetism. See, electricity and magnetism are interlinked with each other. That is why we are going to study combined effects of electricity and magnetism, which is nothing but electromagnetism. The concept of electromagnetism has started back in 1820s with the discovery of famous scientist Oersted. Oersted is a famous American scientist come professor, and with the discovery of Oersted experiment, electromagnetism concept came into the moonlight. So here now first let us see what is this Oersted experiment before going into the electromagnetism. This Oersted experiment, actually Oersted, while giving a lecture to his students, he used a copper wire. He used a copper wire to conduct current through a battery to glow a bulb. So here, to glow a bulb, Oersted used a copper wire to conduct electricity through the battery, and while giving lecture, Oersted unknowingly and unknowingly, that is accidentally, bought a magnetic compass. This is a magnetic compass. He bought a magnetic compass near this current carrying wire. Let us see once again. Oersted, while giving a lecture to his students, he used a copper wire to pass current through this bulb with the help of a battery. So when current is passing through this copper wire, Oersted unknowingly brought a magnetic compass near this copper wire, and interestingly he found that there is a deflection in the needle of a magnetic compass. So interestingly he found that there is a deflection in the needle of a magnetic compass. It means initially if compass needle is like this, while if when he brought near the wire, it deflected in another direction in this way. So this shows that there exists some magnetic field around the copper wire. So whenever a needle in the magnetic compass deflects, then it says that there is a magnetic field at that place. For example, if you take this magnetic compass and if you bring it near a bar magnet, then definitely this needle will deflect because of the presence of the magnetic field. If there is no magnetic field, then needle will not deflect, it will be straight. So whenever it is deflecting, definitely there exists a magnetic field. Now when this magnetic compass is brought near the current carrying copper wire, it has been deflected. So it means that there exists some magnetic field around this copper wire whenever current is passing through this copper wire. So whenever current is passing through the copper wire, so definitely there exists a magnetic field around this copper wire, which says that magnetism is interlinked with electricity. So whenever there is a electric field, definitely there exists a magnetic field. So whenever there is electricity, then there exists a magnetic field. So with this experiment, it has been clear that magnetism is interlinked with electricity. So in the future classes, we shall learn about this magnetic field, what are the effects of the magnetic field, what are the effects of this electric field, and combined effects of electromagnetism, how the magnetic field is going to be around this electric wire, current carrying wire, and how this is causing deflection in this magnetic compass, and all this we shall learn in the coming classes. Now before going in depth of this concept, First, let us learn some basics of magnetism. Let us learn some basics of magnetism. First, let us learn what is magnetic field. Let us see what is magnetic field. What is magnetic field? For example, if you take a bar magnet, which you play in your with which you play in your houses, and if you place a needle, some iron needle near to this bar magnet, then this bar magnet exists some magnetic attraction force on this needle, and this needle will come near the magnet and it will get attracted to the magnet and it will get stick to the magnet. For example, if you place this needle somewhat far away from the magnet, if you place this needle somewhat far away from the magnet, in this case also, let us say this needle get attracted to the magnet and it is sticking to the magnet. Whereas if you take this needle still far away from the magnet, still very far from the magnet, if you place the needle still very far from the magnet, now in this case this needle is not got attracted to the towards the magnet. It means here at this place magnetic force is not acting on the needle. So at this place magnetic force is acting on the needle, and at this place magnetic force is acting on the needle, whereas at this place magnetic force is not acting on the needle. It means the place till where the area till where around the bar magnet, the area till where magnetic force is experienced, that area is called as magnetic field. So magnetic field is nothing but the area until where around the bar magnet, the area until where magnetic force is experienced is called as magnetic field. So outside this area, outside the magnetic field, magnetic force will not act on the objects, whereas inside the area, inside the magnetic field, magnetic force will act on these objects. So this is nothing but magnetic field. Next, let us see magnetic field lines. Magnetic field lines are sometimes it is also called as magnetic flux. Sometimes it is also called as magnetic flux. So here magnetic field lines are nothing but imaginary lines which gives the idea of strength of the magnetic field and direction of the magnetic field. For example, if you take a bar magnet, this is North Pole and this is South Pole. So the area around the bar magnet until where magnetic force can be felt is called magnetic field. Now magnetic field lines or magnetic flux are nothing but imaginary lines which gives the idea of strength and direction of the magnetic field. For example, if you take the bar magnet, magnetic field lines for this bar magnet will be in this way. So this is the magnetic field lines for a bar magnet, and these magnetic field lines are imaginary lines and they are found through the experiment only. We cannot directly draw these magnetic field lines. We can theatrically. These magnetic field lines should be found experimentally only. That is, in order to find these magnetic field lines, what we need to do is we need to take a magnetic compass and we need to place this magnetic compass at each point, and we need to mark the direction of the needle of the magnetic compass, and in whatever direction this magnetic needle will deflect, we need to mark a point over there. We need to mark a point in the direction of the deflection of the magnetic field, and we need to mark a point in the direction of the deflection of the needle of a magnetic compass. And when we join all these points, we will get this line. So this line is called as magnetic field line. So again I am repeating, see, these magnetic field lines we cannot directly draw with our own idea. We need to find these magnetic field lines experimentally only. So in order to find these magnetic field lines, the experiment which we need to perform is we need to take a magnetic compass and we need to place this compass at different points, and in whatever direction the needle in the compass will deflect, in that direction we need to mark a point. And after marking points at different places, if we join these points, we will get a curve. That curve is nothing but magnetic field line. So these magnetic field lines are different for different types of magnetic fields. It means for bar magnet, magnetic field lines will be in this way, whereas for horseshoe magnet, magnetic field lines will be different. It will not be same as this. For horseshoe magnet, magnetic field lines will be different, and for some other magnet, magnetic field lines will be different. It means magnetic field lines will be different for different types of magnetic fields. And these magnetic field lines, they will always move away from the north pole. Magnetic field lines will be directed away from the north pole, and magnetic field lines will be directed towards the south pole. These magnetic field lines will be directed towards the south pole. So magnetic field lines will move away from the north pole and they will be directed, they will move towards the south pole, away from the north pole and towards the south pole. And another property of these magnetic field lines is wherever magnetic field lines are crowded, for example this area, wherever magnetic field lines are crowded, this area and this area, at these two places magnetic field will be very strong. It means magnetic force will be very high. So wherever magnetic field lines are crowded, magnetic force will be very high. Wherever magnetic field lines are away from each other, for example if you take this line and this line, these two lines are away from each other, it means at this place magnetic force will be low. It means magnetic field will be weak. So at this place and at this place you can observe weak magnetic field, whereas at this place and at this place you can observe strong magnetic field, because magnetic field lines are crowded here and magnetic field lines are away from each other at these two places. So here these two places magnetic field will be weak. And wherever if you draw tangent to the curve, wherever if you draw tangent to this curve, it will show the direction of the magnetic field. This is another important property of the magnetic field line, that is wherever we draw tangent to the magnetic field line, this tangent will show the direction of the magnetic field. This is the tangent. Tangent will show the direction of the magnetic field. Tangent drawn to the field line will show the direction of the magnetic field. And next let us see magnetic flux. Let us see magnetic flux. Magnetic flux is nothing but So for example, if you take a bar magnet, this is north pole and this is south pole. If we draw magnetic field lines, so these are the magnetic field lines for a bar magnet, and magnetic field lines will be away from the north pole, they will move away from the north pole. Magnetic field lines will move away from the north pole, and magnetic field lines will move towards the south pole, So here this is the magnetic field lines diagram for bar magnet. And if you take any area, for example, if you place hand like this here at this point, so number of lines passing through my hand is nothing but magnetic flux. So magnetic flux is nothing but number of lines passing through the area. Number of lines passing through the area is called as magnetic flux. So magnetic flux is nothing but, if you place a duster, or if you place any area in magnetic field, then number of lines, for example 1 2 3 4 5 lines, 5 lines are passing through this duster, then magnetic flux is nothing but 5. So number of lines passing through the area placed in the magnetic field is called as magnetic flux. So magnetic flux is nothing but number of lines passing through the area placed in magnetic field. So units for this magnetic flux is Weber. Weber is the unit for magnetic field. Weber, W-E-B-E-R, Weber. Weber is the unit for magnetic flux. Now let us see magnetic flux density. Magnetic flux density. Magnetic flux density, or it is also called as magnetic field strength. Magnetic field strength or magnetic flux density. Magnetic field strength or magnetic flux density is nothing but, it is denoted by letter B, and magnetic field strength is nothing but number of lines passing through unit area. Number of lines passing per unit area. Number of lines passing per unit area is called as magnetic field strength or magnetic flux density. It is denoted by letter B. B is equal to number of lines passing per unit area. So number of lines passing per unit area is given by the letter phi. Number of lines passing per unit area is given by the letter phi, phi by A. So B is equal to phi by A. B is equal to phi by A. Phi is nothing but number of lines passing through the area, and A is the area. So B is equal to phi by A. And if we take the units, number of lines passing through the area is nothing but magnetic flux. Magnetic flux units is Weber, and area units is meter square. So units of B is Weber per meter square. It is also called as Tesla, or it is also named as Oersted in the honor of famous scientist Oersted. So units of magnetic field strength is Weber per meter square, or Tesla, or Oersted. So finally, magnetic field strength is given by number of lines passing per unit area, which is phi by A. B is equal to phi by A. Units is Weber per meter square or Tesla or Oersted. So that's it with the basics of the magnetism. In the next classes, we shall see how magnetic field is connected with the current carrying wires. Thank you.